Charlie, I have killed more medieval peasants in the past 24 hours than the Black Plague killed during its entire, like, plague career.
Really?
In the fullness of time that the Black Plague had to do its thing, it couldn't hold a candle to the atrocities that I have committed against my own virtual peasants in Banished.
You've been a busy little boy.
I've been a busy and terrible leader. Banished is a game that just came out today on GOG. Is it GOG? Can you say just GOG? It's on GOG.
I believe you can.
It's on Steam. And it's been sort of likened to a medieval SimCity. And I think we should sort of just dive into it so we can talk about why that comparison works and why it doesn't. Let's start, I guess, with a town that I've been working on for a couple hours now called Framptonia, and then we can start from scratch to sort of show how things got as bad as they did this quickly. So this is my little world. In Banished, you control a city, and you have to build it. You make roads and bridges and government structures and housing, and here's a mine, here's a quarry. Like, you do sort of the same city building stuff that you have to do in SimCity, but it is way more micromanagement than SimCity requires you to do.
Right.
Do you want to sort of dive into, because, like, really, it's a survival game at its core. You have to worry about, like, your villagers dying, which they will do so quickly if you do a bad job of managing, like, I don't know, their diets, for example.
Well, one of the weird ways that it differs dramatically from SimCity is you're not just like zoning a field or zoning a house or zoning a commercial area.
Yeah.
You are telling Jim what to do.
Right. So I'll show, I guess the profession screen is a decent way to do this. I have about, you can tell from the overview screen, I have about 37 people living here right now, which means I have 34 workers to a lot. And you can see them sort of darting around between their different duties that I've assigned to them in this this here menu. You can see I've got some fields right here, so I have about 6 farmers that are tending those. They're building food resources. I've got a forest over here that's sort of producing trees and planting new trees and replacing them. I've got a quarry over here producing stone, a mine that's making me some metal, a gatherer that's just sort of getting stuff from the forest. So you build these structures, and then you can assign people to work them. Like, I've got 2 gatherers that are just getting me some food. So, like, you really do have to manage person to person, and it's crazy the level of detail you have to worry about. Like, you can't just have a bunch of, like, I have 2 fishing docks. If those were the only food sources I had, like, my people would get scurvy, because fishing got no vitamins, Charlie. Like, seriously, if you don't manage, if they're not getting, like, I don't know if it's this specific, but, like, if they're not getting enough grains, like, they don't grow to be big and strong workers. Like, you really do have to worry about that level of detail, which is really fascinating to me.
Right. In addition to telling Jim what he's going to do for a living and when he's going to do it, you also care for him from birth to death. Your villagers, Griffin, are going to grow old.
Yeah.
If you don't feed them appropriately, they are not going to grow old.
No, they're going to die very, very young, like in a Kesha song. So why don't I actually start a new town, because I think that might be a better way of showing sort of how the game works. I guess quit. Yep. You are reviewing this game, is that right, Charlie?
I am reviewing. I have reviewed this game. It's in kind of edits right now.
So don't spoil the score, because we're gonna call this Charlie Hollington. Yeah, that map seed looks really good. Fair. I'm gonna start it on easy just so we can skip some of the, like, it's kind of slow getting a place started, because when you start out in any other mode, like, you don't have that many workers, and therefore it's like hard to, like, build a house. So you can see this is basically all you start with. You get a little stockpile, you got a barn, got a few houses, got maybe, I don't know, 20 people living here.
You are rolling in it, man. I've not started an easy game, and like the 30 hours that I spent with this thing, I only played on the regular and the hard.
Yeah.
And when you play hard, they give you a wagon.
Oh, that's
it.
That's a bummer. So you can see I have a lot of stuff to work with. And much like a SimCity game, you kind of want to plan out where your stuff is going to be, because it makes sense to keep some wilds area sort of preserved, because there are certain buildings like The forester, if you build that in like a heavily forested area, then it'll just sort of generate wood for you without you having to worry about like completely destroying a forest in the process. There's also an herbalist that will get herbs to keep your people relatively healthy. There are hunters and stuff like that. So you don't want to just destroy everything right away, but you do need to make a pretty significant initial wood and stone investment. So you can do that through this menu. You just say, hey guys, go chop down all them trees.
Right. So they're gonna go out there with their little saws and their little pickaxes, and them and their children and all the women folk are gonna go.
Do children actually? I think children are just sort of like a resource that you have to make sure they don't die. And Charlie, you actually have kids in real life, so I'm sure that you can attest to the fact that basically all you have to do is make sure they don't die, and then they'll cut down all the wood you need them to cut down. Later
That's pretty much it. Yeah, my 4-year-old has been producing resources for quite some time now.
So yeah, all these guys are getting some wood. There's a really, I mean, it's no glass box, but there's a really simple system of like measuring how much stuff you have. I made the mistake in Framptonia of expanding my population too big too fast, and then I ran out of food. And then nature has a very funny way, well, not funny, more tragic way of just correcting itself. By which I mean people just started dying hand over fist, and then,
oh no!
But then I had enough food for everyone. Oh, well, I'm harvesting actually stuff a little bit too fast, so maybe I should stop doing that. So you can see all of my workers right now are just laborers, which mean that's sort of the basic unit that will chop down trees and collect stone and do all that stuff. But let's start building some things. I don't know, but
yeah.
I like getting a lot of food resources up first, just because it makes it easier to expand your population, and that's good to like. All right, so there's a fishing dock there. That makes it easy. I mean, the bigger your population is, it's not like SimCity where population is almost tantamount to like your score. Your population represents like your building power. Which I think is really fascinating. Let's get a hunting cabin.
They're also a huge liability, right? Like getting over like 30 people is an achievement in this game. Getting over 50 people, just 20 people difference is a huge difference.
I don't think anybody's actually capable of doing that. I'll go on record with saying nobody's ever had more than 30 people alive at any one time in this game before.
Well, but there's more subtle interactions with the various resources, right? You can see when you've chopped down all the forests and stripped all the iron out of the earth, right? But then you can hunt the herds of deer.
Right.
And so the herds of deer that had been running around will stop coming. And suddenly you're just looking at the menus, and there's no more food coming in from your hunter's lodge, and you don't know why.
It's almost hard to track, like, hey, why are all my people dying? Because the implications could be like so... It could be like based on you like overfishing this one lake, and like you doomed yourself 10 years ago, and there's like nothing you can do about it now except try and explore like different forms of resources. I am collecting way too much stuff. I need to build super fast.
Yeah, man.
What do I need to make though? What do you recommend, Charlie?
Let us get a woodcutter.
A woodcutter, yes, that's very important. So in addition to like people's hunger levels and, you know, are they getting enough iron and riboflavin? You need to keep them warm, because that's, you know, that's an easy way to die, I think.
Well, yeah, and once the winter comes, it's very hard to build structures. They're much slower moving around outside.
Yeah, I like to usually keep the overview window open, so I can keep an eye on like when it is. Right now it's summer. The seasons pass, I don't know, every couple minutes or so, and then in wintertime it gets pretty brutal. So you can see I got this fishing dock now. I'm going to assign a couple people to it, and that's going to produce like a lot of fish, but this fish tend to burn out pretty quickly if you overfish. So I like keeping that going for a few years, and then I'll stop on it, and then, you know, start it up again. How about we make a couple farms?
There you go. Now, that's the hard part about some of the higher difficulties. You don't start with any seed or with any crops.
Oh, you're kidding me.
In the hard version. Yeah, it's insane.
That is brutal, man.
So you're waiting for, you actually can build a trading post. And in the hard game, you get to like 30 to 40 people. And then it's like, all right, I need a trader to come bring me some seeds because we've all got the scurvy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, you can already see we're running out of food. I need this place to start producing. Oh, wait. Is that gatherer hut I built? Where is it? Is it not?
I don't think you built it, sir.
Oh, it's still going. Well, they need to remove a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I may have put too much of an emphasis on chopping down this entire forest.
Those stones are going to slow them down a little bit, sir.
Yeah. But I got this fishing thing up. Maybe that'll give me enough food before winter comes. This may be the fastest full population death speed run that this game has ever seen. I know it only came out today, but hopefully this woodcutter can get up too before winter comes. God, I'm really cutting it down to the wire. Charlie, how like what is the biggest population you've gotten in this game?
I've gotten over 50. I've gotten close to like 100 people, and it's very strange because you you actually have to kind of build a bureaucracy at some point. You have to build a city hall, which opens up more menu options and lets you see in more detail how you're going through your resources in order to move past like 50, 60 people.
That's interesting. So you can see like that was the road interface. It's super, super, super simple. There's no, like, you can't curve your roads or anything like that, but, I mean, I don't know. It's just...
I believe you can hold down a shift and do it at an angle.
Yeah. Oh, you can. Well, that's kind of a curve. It's an awfully pixelated curve, but sure.
It is. But then at some point it becomes kind of a pathing optimization.
Yeah.
And so as you plan your city, you can actually click on individual workers and it'll trace the path from their house to where they work. And then you can use the road system and actually compel them to change where they live.
That's interesting.
To get them to and from work faster.
I'm going to build a blacksmith really quick just because I like having that. Blacksmiths make tools that people need to... I think the woodcutter uses tools. Miners and quarry stone cutters use tools, so you need those to sort of keep, they're sort of the fuel that keeps the rest of your stuff going. But they also once I build a trading post, which I have to make on the river, I can trade those tools because I'm going to make a lot of excess stuff, and then I can trade that for, you know, cattle that I can use in a farm, and I can get seeds which I can use in farms. They're pretty useful.
It's a completely barter economy. There's no money.
Yeah, there's no gold. You can't sell your extra stuff. You have to trade it. So having like one thing that your city kind of specializes in, like having a bunch of tailors that can make a lot of extra clothes that you can then trade off is kind of handy, I've found. Let's see. So this house is too cold. Maybe I should make a tailor because I'm not growing fast enough. And I want people to be able to build stuff. If you build a tailor, then people can stay out a little bit longer in the wintertime. Wow.
But here's where the resources aspect comes in, though. You're going to build that tailor, right?
I am.
But you need leather or wool to make clothes. So unless your hunting lodge is performing...
Where is my hunting lodge?
You're not going to be able to make clothes.
Didn't I build one? Am I tripping?
I think you're tripping, yo. Yeah, those deer are just running free. Unmolested. Unmolested,
uneaten. Let's just, I guess... if I put them too far away, then it's going to take forever for people to build them. You can see I've already got people starving to death. Good start, Griffin. Good thing you're not playing on easy mode and embarrassing yourself in front of the entire internet.
Have you encountered any disasters yet? Like proper disasters in the game?
I have not, although I understand that there are multitudes of disasters.
They get pretty rough.
I've heard as much. I have 12 laborers working right now. What's taking them so long?
Well, you don't have any of them assigned to build. You need to change their job function to builder.
I think I do have a couple builders, don't I?
Oh, there you go. 5.
Yeah, I got 5. Yeah, see. Oh, lost someone. Died of starvation. Oh, there goes another one. 2 are popping off. But now I have more food. Yay! More good news, everyone.
But your happiness will actually go down if people die and you have not yet constructed a cemetery for them. Like their relatives.
The dead people are like, oh, come on. Come on. What about... How are this many... Charlie, what is going on? This is the hungriest town ever. I have farms that haven't grown anything. Sure, that's on me. All right. What do you...
The Middle Ages were no cakewalk, sir.
I guess. What if I increase the number of fishermen? I can check how many they're producing. 623 fish. You guys have nothing to complain about.
Cool.
This is what I like about this game. Is... and by like, I mean, like, still have not come to terms with and make it, you know, a pretty horrifying, terrible process for me. It's like, in SimCity, when people complain, they're like, there's not enough parks close to my house. And in this game, it's like, hey, I'm dying. Hey, I'm, like, super sick. I've had, like, Mondo diarrhea for, like, a year. you're
Could
basically...
you maybe do something about that? All I've got is this little yellow bubble over my head to alert you of
so
that.
I've got this hunting cabin. I'm starting over, Charlie. This is just not working for me. Why don't I just load that other town and try and salvage it?
Yeah, sounds good.
Because in that town, I think things are going a little bit smoother. Not like much smoother, but I have like farms that exist. Here we go. Why don't we slow down the clock a little bit?
I think that's wise.
So you can see here's my trading post. I've got that going. Here's my fishing dock. It's producing a lot, but you can see like, well, this season just started, so this isn't really a great number, but the number of fish that this thing is pulling in has been going down and down. I made the mistake of building another one down here that has not been producing at all because it's downstream of this one. So it's like fish are up here, they're like, yeah, dead, and then nothing. So probably not my finest achievement. Got a little orchard though, and some nice farmland going.
All right.
Got a
So
bunch of chickens.
what do you farm in there?
I got some pumpkins, and then I have pumpkins here.
Also pumpkins.
So pumpkins and pumpkins. It's a pumpkin-rich... Listen, I'm not hearing any complaints vis-a-vis the variety of crops available in Framptonia. I got these peppers, so
those
they're
are some delicious peppers.
got...
Framptonia is known for its delightful peppers.
Well, it's mostly known for its pumpkins, Charlie. That is its main export. It's dabbling in peppers and apples, so a lot of delicious pies that you can make with peppers, pumpkins, and apples.
The spicy pepper pumpkin pie.
I'm trying to make it fairly sustainable because I made the mistake in Framptonia of just like deforesting the entire freaking state. But I managed to get a few foresters in there to plant. I have this bridge that I've just built and crossed over here. I'm trying to keep this as natural as possible because I want this to be a fairly sustainable place that, you know, foresters are chopping down trees, but they're planting them as soon as they do it. Keeping this hunter sort of in business. If you chop down all the trees, the hunter won't have anything to farm. I also have this herbalist because, like, I lost a lot of people real fast. I got a plague that came in, like an honest-to-goodness one. Yeah, so it's really neat. Traders can come in, and you can deal with them and get, like, stuff you otherwise would not be able to get. But they may bring disease with them.
Oh, my goodness. That had not occurred to me.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, thanks for the potatoes, my man. And also for the syphilis. Thanks for the... I don't remember getting... I guess you just kicked in that syphilis for free as part of that trade, which I appreciate. The little side pot there. So I got a little bit of syphilis going on here, but you know what I did? Built a church. Jesus took the wheel. Cured all the syph.
What one thing that happened to me actually is I got an infestation of insects and it swept through all of my cornfields. And I learned that by having like a monoculture of crops in my town, that's like not the way to do it. You've got to like mix up the fields. You've got to let them lie fallow, and you can actually improve the resiliency of the soil itself by doing that.
Yeah, if you farm too much on one land, it will become like unplantable. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how much like I think when compared to a more modern city building game, like you don't get the sort of macroeconomics that you have to deal with SimCity. Like especially the most latest SimCity, which is almost entirely built on a system of macroeconomics that did and did not work simultaneously. It's more limited than that, but there's something really fascinating about this idea that like there are implications in the environment and in the like human level that all play off each other in a really fascinating way. I've made maybe 2 or 3 cities now, and each one like has developed in completely different ways just because I've had to respond to the needs of the city while also trying not to like just burn out the land around me. I'm really curious to play more of the game and see like what the end game is, because I would imagine that like at a certain point, like this mine and quarry are producing stuff, but eventually I'll mine out this mountain and then it won't do anything. I imagine there's like an extinction point for everything you do in the game. It's just a question of like how long can you keep those plates spinning.
Well, each of the various improvements, like the gatherer's hut and like the forester's lodge, take and also give back to the land. So there is an equilibrium point that I think the designer was trying to build into it. And I think that it's manageable given the right landscape. Like I played in a mountainous, arid environment on hard. And that was an incredibly different experience than playing in the normal game in a valley, in a very lush environment.
Yeah, no, this is Luscious Jackson down here. It's just I just don't know what to do next. I need to start, like, sort of expanding my city, I think. I really, like, that's the thing. I'm playing on a relatively small map, so I can cross over here and build a bridge and start exploring this land over here. But, like, I'm really worried because last time I expanded, I killed half my population because I expanded too fast, which I guess was sort of a wash because I doubled my population and then halved it very quickly. It's just, I don't know.
Well, a good strategy that I've had is actually to start with some fields and get the fields up and running and then put houses around them. Because once you've filled up the houses that you have, if you click in those little houses, you'll see there's mom and dad and Timmy and Gina and all these kids. As soon as you build a free house, kids get interested in each other and they move out and they start their own little families.
Here's what I think, because things got really good for me after I built this church. Like, no kidding, syphilis went away. I'm just gonna double down on the Gizo and then see where that takes me. Maybe I'll get a book place. What do they call those? Schools.
The schoolhouse.
Let's see if I can build a schoolhouse on the other side of the river, in the wild. So good luck with the wolves, kids, but. You should be safe once you get inside, just like as soon as you cross the bridge, dart in there, or else the coyotes will get you. This is a nice little place I'm building, I think, Charlie.
It doesn't look bad. It's a nice little landmass that you've got there, the little isthmus sticking out in the river. It's very nice.
Maybe I'll build a few more houses. I have this hill here. I can't do anything with that.
Yeah. Could build like a little quarry maybe, but it's like right there.
It's just like right there, and that's not ideal. What's the market used for?
Market is a central location where people can go for resources. So it's kind of like a trading post, but internal to the city, and it kind of helps traffic management a little bit.
That's interesting. I have no use for that, I don't think, because it's not like I have a surplus of survival tools right now.
But say you wanted to go west here across the river and put some more houses across the river, you could use the market to kind of shift the center of the town.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'll drop that right there. Yeah, is there really anything that I've glossed over? Is there any other aspects of city management we should touch on?
You've hit a lot of it.
It really is. It's not like a huge set of options that you have. You have, tools for natural collection of resources, more sustainable collection of resources, more complex production things, like you can make clothes and tools and healing herbs. You can build storage structures, housing structures, roads and bridges. The really fascinating thing about the game is just sort of like how everything reacts to your decisions and how you have to react in order to like keep everybody from dying.
It feels so very well considered and so very honest in what it is giving you as far as feedback.
Yeah.
And the little stories, the little vignettes, when you slow it down and click on the person in the fields there, you can actually see where they live and find out about them. It's very intimate.
You can click on each house and like see who lives there. It's interesting. I'm just now starting to reach the point where people are going to start dying of old age. And like my first sort of crop, that's a horrifying way of referring to them, but my first crop of like settlers are probably going to start kicking it pretty soon. And then I'm going to definitely need to expand, or else I will run out of population. And then once I start running out of population, I'm not going to have enough people to staff all these buildings that I built. And then that's the ball game.
Well, you'll get nomads that actually come in as your city grows
great.
in size.
More disease-carrying nomads. Exactly what this recently syphilis-free culture needs. It may or may not have been syphilis. It was just sort of implied syphilis. Anyway, this is Banished. It's a really interesting game. It's $20 on GOG and Steam. It's worth checking out, I think, if you're into that city building sim genre, because it's sort of an interesting, different take on it. Charlie, any last words?
No, it's a good game. I've really enjoyed my time with it a lot more than I expected, frankly.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll have more of these every day this week, so check it out. Charlie, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for inviting me.
And we'll see you guys real soon. Bye.